I swear, Marvel is straight up trolling me. I'm unable to review this movie for an entire week, and then they go and decide to just change the name of the movie. Unbelievable. Hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for Thunderbolts, asterisk. Wait, or is it the new Avengers? I'm not sure, but you know what? For the sake of simplicity, I'm just gonna refer to this movie by Thunderbolts. This movie follows a bunch of characters who work for Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, played by Julie Louis-Dreyfus, as they are basically forced into a trap. This includes Yelena, the new Black Widow, John Walker, US agent, Ava Starr, Ghost, and Bob. And they're also accompanied by the Red Guardian and Bucky Barnes, as they all are forced to team together to try and basically get revenge on Valentina for setting them all up to kill each other. So this review is going to contain spoilers. If the title of this video and the opening of this video wasn't enough, I have a full spoiler-free review on my Tumblr account, so you can go ahead and read that. But for everyone else, if you've seen Thunderbolts, which it's been out for a week, so I assume you have, let's continue with this review as if you've already seen it. So Phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe has definitely been a bumpy road. I was not impressed with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania at all. It's the only movie in the MCU that I actively dislike. And then when it came to Secret Invasion, I despise that show. Like, I have serious hate for that show and have not found myself invested in the Disney Plus series afterwards. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was fantastic, even though it is very dark. And I actually enjoyed the Marvels more than most people. If anything, I actually might enjoy the Marvels slightly more than I do Deadpool and Wolverine, which is still a lot of fun, but you know, I'm kind of over nostalgia baiting at this point. So when it came to the last two films of this phase, Captain America: Brave New World and Thunderbolts, I actually had a different opinion going into them than everyone else. With Brave New World, a lot of people were seeing the trailers thinking, oh, this is gonna be amazing, I can't wait, it's giving Winter Soldier vibes. I was sitting on the side going, I hope it's good, but the trailers are not impressing me, and everything I've heard about the troubled production of this film definitely has me concerned. And I enjoyed it, but it's not great. It hasn't aged well the more I thought about it. Thunderbolts was the movie that everyone was clowning on, thinking, oh, this is gonna be terrible, the MCU's done and whatnot. And I was sitting back going, this actually looks really cool. I can't wait to see it for myself. And it's funny how I ended up being right about both these movies. However, I will say this about Thunderbolts. Whatever movie they were marketing in the trailers is not the movie that we got, because the trailers marketed this movie as a goofy superhero team-up comedy. But what this movie actually is about mental illness. It's about characters that have been pushed to the side and have been abandoned by the people that they love, like with Yelena losing Natasha in real life. So that's something I did not expect with this movie, and it really does harken back to what I really love about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, why I've been so invested in this franchise since day one. The characters. All of these characters are very well defined, they're very sympathetic, despite the fact that they're essentially contract killers for Valentina. And everyone on the Thunderbolts team is really good. Florence Pugh is back as Yelena from Black Widow and Hawkeye, and I've always really liked this character. I'm not so enthusiastic about the Black Widow movie. I think it's fun, but not amazing. But Yelena was always the big standout of that film, and Florence Pugh once again does an amazing job in this role. She manages to give a good balance of being really funny, but also very heartfelt, and she has one of the most emotional scenes in the entire film. There's several, but there's one in particular that she shares with the Red Guardian, which is interesting because when I reviewed Black Widow, I said that these two characters were the main source of comedy, and that's true here, but that one scene that they share that is really a gut punch and very heartfelt works. And David Harbour does a really good job as Red Guardian. He's definitely more complex and more sympathetic than he was in Black Widow, because I think in Black Widow he was solely comic relief. He had a few heartfelt moments, but they are amplified in this film. Even when it comes to characters that I didn't find myself caring all that much about, I found myself enjoying them in this film. Ghost, in particular, is given a lot more to do. Hannah John-Kamen is allowed to give this character a lot more personality than she gave the character in Ant-Man and the Wasp, because in that movie, Ghost was more or less an obstacle for Ant-Man and the Wasp. She was not the central villain and was just more there to be a cool adversary. Here, she's given a lot more to do, she has more of a personality, and I grew to like her. And then we get to John Walker, aka US Agent, played by Wyatt Russell, because I truly despised him in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that was the point. But I also felt like when we got to the finale, as much as I'm in the minority and thinking that finale is great, they really did him a disservice because they tried to make him sympathetic, and I didn't think it was warranted. In Thunderbolts, when it comes to being sympathetic towards him, I actually found it to be warranted because we get to see what actually happened to him after his fall as the new Captain America. And he ends up being a pretty big scene stealer for a good chunk of this movie. Another big standout character is Bucky Barnes. He doesn't really have much to do in terms of character development, but what really works about his inclusion in this movie is that he's the one that's gone through all the stress before. We've had a good amount of movies in the Infinity Saga where he's been brainwashed, he is not in control of his own actions, and by the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he basically is free from all that trauma. So he comes in as more of a, I guess, mentor to the Thunderbolts because they're all experiencing what he experienced before. And I think this is the best that Sebastian Stan has played Bucky. As for the villains, we do have Valentina, played again by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who I think was perfect casting, and she really gets to sink her teeth into this role. She is slimy, she is just an all-around fun bad guy. And then when it comes to Bob, aka Sentry, aka Void, he's not really a traditional villain in the way that a lot of other superhero movies would have a traditional villain. There's a lot of sympathy towards this character. There's a good dynamic between him and Yelena, which I've already seen people ship these two together, and I don't blame them. And when you get to the big climax of the movie, it's not this massive superhero battle between the Thunderbolts and Bob. You do get that, but the real core of it is more of an internal battle. It's very trippy, very bizarre, but it's very well done. There are a few issues with the movie. One of the things that kept me from feeling a lot more emotion, and this is a weird thing to talk about, is the way the movie's edited. Now, I'm not talking about choppy action editing or a bunch of close-up shots and quick cuts. No, I'm talking about the pacing of the film. There are some scenes that don't really have a lot of time to breathe, and then we cut to the next thing, and then quickly cut back to the thing that we were focusing on prior. Those scenes just aren't as well paced as I think they could have, so there's not really a lot of time to process what's going on. And then I think the biggest cardinal sin of the movie is Taskmaster. I didn't have a problem with the way this character was presented in Black Widow, because I thought, you know what, it's a rough start, but let's give this character another chance when she pops back up. And she pops back up in this movie, she has one line of dialogue, and then Ghost shoots her in the head. Yeah, that's about all we get, so that's really disappointing. But I guess it was more like a mercy kill than anything because people complained about her in Black Widow, so what's the point of carrying her along? Despite those small issues though, I really enjoyed Thunderbolts. I really like it to the point of loving this film. It feels like a classic MCU film where the focus is on the characters, it's not about nostalgia baiting, it's not about the multiverse. There are some setups for what's to come, but it's not in your face and it doesn't feel like it takes away from the story. I say it's worth seeing in your lifetime. I really can't wait to see this movie again at some point. I mean, it's probably not going to be until Blu-ray because I'm going to be at Cannes next week. But after feeling a lot of MCU burnout between Quantumania, Secret Invasion, Brave New World, and even the final season of What If, Thunderbolts has renewed my interest in this franchise, and I am super excited for Fantastic Four later in July. But for Thunderbolts itself, I am so glad that I stuck to my gun and said, I don't know guys, I think this movie's going to be pretty good. it ended up being far better than I could have imagined. And there you go, that's my review for Thunderbolts. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I also want to give a special thank you to my subscribers and YouTube members right over here. You guys are the reason why this channel continues to grow every day, and if you want to help to financially support the channel, you can do so via YouTube memberships for as little as $1.99 a month. But until next time, I want to know what you guys think about Thunderbolts, Asterisk, or the new Avengers, whatever you want to call it. Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. If you want to find me elsewhere on the internet, you can find me on these social media platforms and my theme park and travel channel right here on YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.